Hello YouTube! So I am back with another makeup tutorial for my cosplays. Today we are going to be doing a powder slash Jinx kind of look. Now this specific cosplay is actually inspired by this beautiful piece of fan art I found on Pinterest of the sort of like wedding Jinx powder. I can't tell which one it is because it has powder's like haircut, but it also has Jinx's tattoos on it. So I'm not exactly sure which one it's meant to be or if it's just meant to kind of be a mix of both. Either way, it's really pretty, and let's go ahead and get into the makeup. So first things first, as part of my skin prep, I'm going in with this Equate Beauty Gentle Skin Cream just as a moisturizer to make sure I have a good base. Next, we are going to be using this Milani Clean Start Prep Step Facial Mist. I personally love this, and I use it as part of my skin prep for all of my cosplays, and even just when I'm doing my makeup for fun. Next, I'm using this Maybelline New York Grippy Serum for my primer of choice. Okay, now for my foundation of choice, we're going to be using this e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation in the shade 20 Light Cool. Sorry, forgive me. I always hate it when I stutter during these. Okay, I'm just taking my foundation brush and I'm just kind of doing a wide range of placement with the product. I'm not really putting in any specific areas, just kind of where I typically will put my foundation, just to get a clean base, just kind of putting it everywhere, really. Now, I didn't do my typical green color correcting under it because I just wanted to show how much this foundation already covers without any color correcting under it. It really covered up my acne. And then next we're going in with this Revlon Glimmer Correcting Concealer to just do some spot concealing on the spots of acne that you can still kind of see. Okay, now we're going to let this sit for a little bit and then we're going to blend it out. Okay, next we're going in with our concealer. I'm personally using this Petal Bright Brightening Concealer, shade 1. This is kind of like a pink kind of concealer. I really like those because it helps brighten a lot. So this is my placement for the concealer, and now it is time to blend it out. Okay, now it is time to go in with our contour. I'm personally using the Chic Glam, I don't really know how to describe this, but it's a Chic Glam contour. I really like this. It's one of the more popular ones. This is shade Soft Tan Liquid Contour. I personally love this one. So this is my contour placement for today's look. I'm putting it in a lot of different spots than where I usually put it because Arcane characters are very big with their contour and their shading, which is why I emphasize so much concealer around the inner corners and so much contour. This is actually our first round of contour, then we're going to go on with a specific nose contour next. After I do my blush and stuff like that. So we're doing very heavy contour, very heavy makeup, because we're basically trying to look like an animated character, really. Okay, so this is what our contour and concealer looks like all blended out. And then next we're going to be going in with this CoverGirl True Blend Skin Enhancer Blush Balm. This is shade Nude Flush. I personally love this. I'm also using this because it has kind of like a berry purpley kind of undertone, which is, I think, very important for Jinx slash powder, especially since she is from the Undercity, which not a lot of sunlight, bad air quality, she's malnourished, all that kind of stuff. So she's not very like a rosy pink blush. She's very purpley kind of blush, and that's if you can really point out any blush on her at all, because usually she has this weird like blue, purple, really pale undertone to the point where she kind of looks like a sheet of paper. So this is kind of the placement I'm using. I focused around her chin and kind of like on her eyes, because since we're going to be going in with another round of contour, a lot of this is going to be kind of hidden. So I kind of put a lot on, more than what Jinx would typically have. It kind of just went on that rant. But now it's time to blend it out. Okay, this is what it looks like all blended out, and then next we're going to be going in with our Chic Glam Fine Line 2-in-1 Nose Contour and Highlighter Pen. I personally love this. I don't think it has like a shade name on it or anything like that, but it looks like this, and it has kind of like a gray contour side, and then this is like basically a pure white contour highlighter side. So this is our contour placement. Again, very cartoony, kind of follows the guidelines I set down with my contour earlier, and then now it is time to blend it out. This is what our contour looks like blended out. I actually went in with a brush for this one. It's kind of dense. I used it to just kind of tap it along because I didn't want to erase it too much like I normally would with contour. And then now it is time to use our highlighter. So this is my highlighter placement. I kind of put it in a lot of the similar areas I went in with my concealer earlier, and then now it's time to blend it out. Also worth mentioning, I'm going to be blending out this highlighter with a brush as well. Dense, thin kind of brush. As you can see, I've used it before. I just wanted to mention this because there is actually a little bit of a difference versus when you use a brush versus when you use a beauty blender. So this is what the highlighter looks like all blended out. As you can see, the contour and highlighter is still very pigmented because I went in with brushes rather than beauty blenders, because as much as I love beauty blenders, they are sponges, so they soak up product. Hence why I always fill mine with water first, so they're less likely to absorb all of the product versus when you just use an empty sponge with some setting spray on it. Now it's setting powder time. I'm going in with this Laura Mercier setting powder. Translucent setting powder, sorry. I don't know if that's necessarily important. I just want to mention it either anyway because personally I hate it when I'm watching like makeup tutorials or anything like that and then they don't list the products and they're just like, okay, setting powder time, and I'm like, I would also like to, I'm probably not going to buy it, but I would like to know which one you're using so I can get like recommendations. Alright, so we're kind of focusing it mostly in the spots where I put my highlighter and contour so we can kind of let it bake. Because I specifically highlighted those spots for a reason. Along the nose and right here. I noticed this is like a very highlighted spot with Jinx and powder. On the forehead. That, and then I'm also going to go in around the nose as well. Just like that, these are kind of the spots where we're going to let it bake, and I'm now noticing some spots have more pressed powder than others, so I'm just evening that out real quick. Alright, we're going to let this bake, and then while I'm doing that, I'm also going to go in with this NYX HD finishing powder, and I'm just going to kind of apply it all over the rest of my face with a brush. Nothing that you really need to see. I'm just literally just taking my brush and I'm just taking some setting powder and just going like that. Okay, now before we move on to our powder blush and contour, we're actually going to be going in with my brows first. I'm just using this Estee Lauder Signature Eyeshadow Palette, and I'm going to be going in with this brown right here and this very thin angled brush. And I'm kind of just outlining what my brows are already doing. I'm not trying to change them too much. Like, I know Jinx has some very, like, high arched brows, but I personally don't kind of like doing that. Like, sometimes I like doing arched brows, and then sometimes I prefer straight ones. And I'm actually really liking how this looks with the straight right now, so I'm just trying to emphasize that. There we go, just like that. I feel like that makes me look a little bit more animated. Okay, now we're going in with this Estee Lauder Signature Silky Powder Blush, shade 11 Nude Rose. I'm only applying a little bit. I know I put a lot on my brush, but I'm actually going to be very stingy with the product. Just in the similar spots I put it before. And then I'm actually going in with my setting powder brush and blending it out a little bit more. Now this time for contour, we're actually going in with this Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics palette. And I think I'm going to be going in with this shade. Sorry, I've had this palette for a really long time. I think I'm going to be going in with this shade Tempted right here and possibly kind of mix it with this one right here. What's this one called? I can't read. There's something on the label. But I'm going to be going in with these two. And then when it comes to the highlighting, we're going to be going in with this pre-game kind of color. Okay, now we're going to be going in the same place we put our contour before. These colors are very pigmented, so I'm being pretty stingy with it. Because it's easier to add more than it is to take away. I'm emphasizing that jawline, because I know it's because she's malnourished, but Jinx's jawline is very snatched, so. I'd love to, like, look like her, especially in the sense where she's kind of still got those, like, chubby cheeks, but the super, like, sharp jawline. because I don't really have that. I think I have pretty chubby cheeks, but my jawline is not really snatched at all. It might kind of look like it right now because of the contour and everything I have on it, but it is not. And we're putting highlight on the places where I notice her shading is very heavy around her forehead and chin. We're blending down a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to be taking my setting powder brush and just blending this out a little bit. Okay, now for the very smaller focus contour points, I'm going to be taking this kind of fluffy, angled kind of brush right here, and I'm going to be mixing Tempted, and I found out what the other color was. It's called Instinct. There's, like, eyeshadow stained on it, because I use the black a lot. So we're mixing Tempted and Instinct, and I'm going in, and I'm just putting it exactly where I put my contour before. I have to hit so many weird angles to make this work, because why am I sitting like this, trying to do the damn contour? And then we're going up here. Focusing on this point. I really love Jinx's nose. I kind of just love everything about Jinx, but, like, there's these specific points that I love the most about her. Like, her nose, her chubby cheeks, her eyes are always #1 for me. I just love her eyes so freaking much. I just love how big and round and expressive they are. We're blending it into the eyebrows. And we're doing this C shape right here. And there we go. And then I think I'm also going to add a little bit around the eyes over here. Just to kind of add a little bit more definition to them. And there we go, just like that. Also, if you see me doing, like, weird kind of motions like I just did when I sat up, and I was kind of like, it's because I'm, like, trying to get into the, like, whole animated kind of thing, because Jinx moves so, like, it's so hard to describe the way she moves. It's kind of, like, very fluid the way she moves, and I'm trying to get into the mood of it. Especially with the, like, makeup we're kind of doing, because it's a lot more pigmented in real life than it is on camera. I I just kind of find myself trying to move like her in certain ways. And even in my regular life, I've picked up a lot of habits from her. Like, I do the Jinx lip bite a lot more, especially when my lips are feeling, like, kind of chapped and stuff like that because of her. And I just find myself doing a lot of her motions and mimicking the way she moves and stuff like that, especially when she kind of, like, tilts her head and stuff. I love her so much. She's basically dictating my life since 2021 when I first watched Arcane. Okay, now it is time to get into the fun part of the eyeshadow. I thought about doing her, like, party kind of look, the way she has the purple and the pinks and the blues and stuff, because I love that makeup look so much, but I think we're actually going to be doing her more normal kind of look with the purples and the blacks and the grays and the kind of, like, brown undertones and stuff in it, so I'm going to pull out a few palettes that I think that could be useful, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so first things first, we're going to be using this Kylie Jenner Pressed Powder palette. This is the purple one. I couldn't see, like, a shade or anything on it, but this is what it looks like. And we're actually going to be going in with Stone up here first. Let me grab a few brushes. Okay, I'm taking this kind of, like, fluffy brush right here, and we're going in with Stone, like I mentioned. And we're focusing this one on the outer eye, and we're sort of doing, like, a cut crease thing with it. So we're focusing up where my eyelid folds and on the outer of the eye. And then we're going to take a little bit and go under the eye as well. Just like that. And then we're going to repeat the process to the other eye. Okay, now we're going in with this pre-game color that I mentioned before and my Urban Decay Naked palette. And we're going to be focusing on the outer corners of the eyes, or actually I guess this would be considered the inner corner, sorry. And we're going to take a little bit and put some on my nose as well, just to highlight it more. Okay, next we're going to be going in with this Wine and Dine color from my Kylie palette, and we're going to be taking this kind of fluffy brush with it, and we're being very careful with it because of how pigmented this is. I'm actually dabbing a little bit of the excess on the back of my hand before we go in. And similar thing we did with the gray, we're focusing on the outer corner, just with a little bit of less focus on the cut crease. And blending downwards. Just like that. And then I'm going to take a little bit and go under as well. I keep looking back and forth from the camera to the phone so that way, or from the camera to the mirror to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing, because I have a bad habit of cutting you guys off from actually seeing what I'm doing sometimes. Okay, just like this. Then I'm actually going to be taking this brush right here. I'm not going to put any powder on it. Powder reference. I'm actually just going to be blending it out like this. Okay, now we're going to repeat this process to the other eye. Okay, next I'm going back into my Estee Lauder palette, and we're going to be using this color called Berry Quartz, I think? I can't tell. Anyway, we're going in with this dark purple right here. And I'm going to be using this brush right here, this double-sided one. I'm going to be using this side of it, the kind of angled, fluffy side. And I'm going to be taking some of the dark purple and tap it. And then we're going in to focus the darkness on the outer corner and into the cut crease. Or I guess not the cut crease, but just where my eye folds. And then same thing as before, we take it under. I do this specifically, I don't do it into my waterline, I take it below the waterline because it makes my eyes look bigger. Which, Jinx has like huge, like puppy dog eyes, and I just think they're so fucking adorable. And I love them so much. Her eyes are probably my favorite thing about her, honestly. Just like that, and then we're going to be taking the same brush we used to blend before and blend it out a little bit. Just like that, and then repeating the process to the other eye. Okay, now I'm taking the other side of it with this fluffy side, and we're going to be going in with this Shigam Berry eyeshadow palette. And I'm going to be taking this very dark red right here, and I'm grabbing it, and we're going to blend it in where we put our purple eyeshadow. I noticed her makeup is a mix between a lot of purples and reds. It's actually not nearly as much black as I originally thought it was. I have some reference images that I go back and I check a lot. Okay, and we're taking our same brush we did before and just blending it out. Don't you just hate it when one eye comes out better than the other? I feel like this eye looks better than this one does. But we're not working on making one look better than the other. We're working on making it symmetrical, so I'm just bringing the darker colors in a little bit more. There we go, just like that. And then we're going back in with our pre-game color before, and I'm going to take some of it on my white brush, and we're gonna do inner corners again, and we're blending inwards this time into where we actually have the eyeshadow placed. Just like that, and then I'm actually taking a little bit more and going under here. There we go, just like that. And I'm going to check my palettes again because I'm debating about adding a little bit of glitter. And a lot of the glitters I have are like really pigmented, and that's not really the vibe we're going for. If I do add glitter, it's going to be kind of a subtle shimmer. So I'm just going to check some of my palettes real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're going back into our Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics palette, and we're grabbing this Blow color right here. It has a very subtle shimmer to it, and we're tapping it into the corner of the eyes and blending it outwards where we put our white before, and I'm adding a little bit onto my nose and up here. Okay, now it's time for our eyeliner. Now what I'm actually going to do for eyeliner is first I'm going to go in with a very dark eyeshadow. I'm using my Naked Urban Decay Smoky palette. And we're going to go in and we're probably going to use a little bit of a mix of Dagger and Whiskey. So I have this kind of thin brush. It's not really angled or anything. It's pretty rounded. And we're going to mix Dagger and Whiskey together. And we're going to go in and just focus on the outer corner. Sorry. I'm trying to use my mirror as well. Very focused on our outer corner, just like that. And then we're going to repeat the process to the other eye. Okay, now that our eyes are just about done, we're going to go in and we're going to do the lips. So first I'm going to be going in my Quibest lip liner. This one is actually black, but I'm just using it because I don't have a lot of lip liners, and I like to have a little bit of a base before I just go in with my lipstick and kind of wing it. So let's get into it. I'm probably going to speed this part up in post just because it feels awkward when I'm just not really doing anything. Like when I'm doing stuff and I'm not talking to the camera, so I'm probably going to speed this bit up, but obviously you can slow it down if you're confused about the process at all. I'm trying to overline my Cupid's bow just a little bit, because that's another thing I really like about Jinx, is the way her lips look. So I want to not do that. Do me a favor and ignore how chapped and cracked my lips look. It's because I put powder over them before I do any lip stuff. I just find it kind of helps hold it better, I guess. Okay, just like that. And then now it is time to go in with our actual lip product. I'm going to be using this lippy sticks. I can't read, the label's rubbed off. I've had this for a really long time though. It is Infinite Best matte lip kind of liner. Looks like this. Like I said, a lot of labels are rubbed off in these things because some of it is like hand-me-downs for my mom and stuff, so she's even had this for a long time. Look at that pigment and tell me that isn't Jinx. I know hers is a little bit more purpley, but I like the red. Also being very careful because this is like hella pigmented. Alright, now I'm actually going to take a brush to kind of blend this out and smear it a little bit. Okay, let me fix that real quick. I totally forgot I went in with my finger beforehand. We're gonna smear that a little bit, and then what we're gonna do, not to panic, I've done this before. I'm missing brushes. Okay, I'm gonna take this kind of nude color right here. There you go, just like that. I'm gonna put this white over top of it to brand it. And then what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna take it and do a similar thing to the other side, just to make sure it doesn't look asymmetrical. There we go, just like that. It's still a little bit messy, but hopefully it won't mess up too much. Okay, now what I'm actually doing right now is I don't like how kind of glossy the lips look, so I'm actually taking some translucent setting powder over them. Alright, so here's what the lips look like now. I like them a lot more matte than I did when they were glossy. Now what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna add some lashes. I'm not sure. This is the very first time I've ever done like a wedding Jinx kind of thing, and I've cosplayed Jinx before, but I've also done her in many different ways, so I'm not really sure. And plus I like experimenting with characters and stuff. You will basically never catch me doing the same makeup twice, so I like to change things around a lot. So give me a couple seconds and I'm gonna brainstorm. Okay, so I have these strip lashes right here. And they're pretty, like, small. They're meant to be kind of, like, outer corner lashes. So I think I'm going to put those on. I like the way they look. And then, honestly, what I might do is I might also go in with a little bit of mascara afterwards to kind of blend it into my natural lashes. Okay. After letting the lashes dry, I'm going to do this eye first because this eye is the harder one to do with the lashes. So let's go ahead and try to apply this. Actually, I'm going to go in with a mirror. Hopefully y'all can still see what I'm doing. I swear the lash glue just got directly in my eyeball. Okay, I fixed the lashes, and then now it's time to do the other eye. Okay, so this is the finished product of the Jinx makeup. Now, I'm gonna go get dressed, and I will be right back, and hopefully I'll actually do it this time, because a lot of the times I don't do it because I always forget. Okay, here is what our finished costume looks like, all put together for our lovely powder slash Jinx thing we have going on. And then here's how the skirt and everything looks from the bottom. And I have my little boots on. Alright, now it's time for me to go film some TikTok. So, like and subscribe if you like this tutorial or found it helpful. It would really help me out. And thank you, and I will probably see you later.